Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to your daily lighting critique. We have lots of good stuff to go through today. But first, I wanted to start with Kat's project. So, Kat, this was we were looking at this the other day, and I just kind of wanted to take a look at the project file because there's an animation going on and you wanted to do like a sunset thing, and there was just something goofy going on. It looks a lot better now, but I just kind of wanted to play with it a little bit.
Yep.
So I had you.
Yeah, flipping the light helped, I think, on the other side.
It's interesting because like I was expecting you just to what was I gonna say? I was expecting you just to delete the or to move the eye ding to the other side, because that was the problem that we were talking about. Like the eye dings were on this side, yeah, but the light was coming in from this side. Usually people just flip the eye dings, but you went the opposite way and flipped the whole lighting direction. So.
Well, I tried to move the eye dings, but they're actually like I think they're part of the animation rig. And when I tried to move them, it went all funky. So I was like, I'll just move the lights. It'll just.
If you can turn them, I don't know if you can make them not visible. That would be another way, and then you could just add them later. But
yeah,
but it's fine.
I could do that too.
I don't want people to feel, because like because I agreed that it felt like the room was set up to be lit from the screen left side, but I guess it's fine. Mm-hmm. Because then now it changes kind of like the way that the little boy is going to light up, because then he's going to be more like backlit. So we can make anything work, but just a heads up.
Yeah.
The big thing that I wanted to do though was take a look at the file, and I realized now that I was playing with it before. But basically one of the things that happens is so like this is how the file came in. Mm-hmm. And there was the character here, and he was moving around, and one of the things that happens is when you're trying to like simulate an interior space, the way that modern renderers work is that they tend to like they try and function as like realistically as they can. So they'll have light that bounces around a room. And one of the things that happens is like when you're trying to duplicate an interior space like this, the fact that there's no ceiling and only a half the walls it causes problems, right? Like. Because when you start trying to simulate, like you can kind of simulate it, but the problem is that, you can definitely simulate it, but the problem is that like you're not taking advantage of what the renderer is trying to give you. So what you want to do in situations like this is, at the bare minimum, you want to put a roof on it, just to kind of block light from coming in, because that will allow you the opportunity. If you don't want to build walls, I guess that's fine, but just be aware that it's harder to build directionality into your scene if. Without that. So actually, let me do this too. I'm just gonna grab this on this side, and then, since you're flipping the lighting, I'll just move this guy over here, and then let me go ahead and do this. So basically, and then you can do things like objects. There's a way of making it so it doesn't. Here we go. Double-sided, opposite. Okay, so now you can kind of see through the walls. And again, I know that you're working in. Blender now with this, right? Is this a Blender?
Yeah, I put up walls and everything in the Blender file too. I just cut some holes in them because I was trying to like maybe simulate a door or whatever. So I've just kind of been messing with it a little bit.
Yeah. So the biggest thing that I wanted to do was just like kind of get the base structure of it set up. So in both scenarios. So in case you didn't know, like there was the daytime, the regular sunsetty one. And then the kind of underlighting evil dog thing. Mm-hmm. So, okay. So we go ahead and fire up the IPR here, and so you can kind of see here's the renderer over here to the right. So the biggest thing that I wanted to do out of the gate was just to go ahead and start setting it up where we can. I wonder why this isn't coming in. Let me do this again. Because there's walls there now? Let me try something real quick. Sorry, for some reason the light isn't coming in here the way that it was before. Is it just... Let me recreate this. Sorry, guys. But basically the thing... The walls in there. The sky dome light.
Well, I'm just glad that I'm not the only one that suffered. problems.
There we go. So yeah, it happens all the time. So it's like, yeah, let's recreate it. So basically, once I create the sky dome light, you can kind of start to see it creep in there. And yeah, actually, I probably want to build a wall a little bit over here just to block that a little bit for now.
Yep.
And then, and actually, whenever you manipulate the actual geometry, the IPR is expecting the geometry to stay the same for the most part. And so anytime you do that, you have to actually kind of restart the render from scratch so we can calculate that in. And even though it's still not. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now we got the light coming in, and this is a sky dome light that's meant to simulate the sky. Since we've constructed this scene to be much more similar to how the light would behave, you can kind of start to make it feel like it's window light. For this sky dome, we really want this to be much more like the actual sky color. So for sunset, you could have something kind of more in this pinkish, actually more like this, like kind of like a pinkish purpley sky, a little bit. Just have it coming in that way. And then for the actual sunlight, then usually what I do for window light is to throw in an area light.
Right.
Spin this around and make sure it's turned on. And position this in the spot that the window light would actually be coming in from. So you move this a little closer. And also, since I just turned this light back on, I'm going to go ahead and refresh the render.
Yeah, I just have like spotlights in there right now.
Yeah. So, and the fact that you're saying that there's like, it sounds like there's multiple of them. The one thing that, why is this not showing up again? Oh, illuminates by default. Oh, there we go. So the biggest thing with this is, like, I just wanted to simplify this lighting setup for you in a pretty clear cut way. And then, because now we can take this, and this can actually be a little bit more on the red side. Let's go take down the saturation. And what we want is to create something that's a little bit, like, you can start to feel the light source a little bit more, where it's not necessarily, and like what I did too was I took this spread, because by default it kind of is everywhere. And yeah, like that kind of feels like window light, but you kind of want to zero this in so it's not hitting the character, or it's not hitting the background as much, and really allowing the light to really kind of focus in on the character. And that'll really help you out in terms of like just having that as the beginning setup. Will be a really good advantage. And like you kind of have it here, but like I'm not seeing any influence from the actual sky. I'm just seeing like this very direct like sunlight coming in. And so you want to make sure to be incorporating the sky color and the sun color, because those are going to kind of blend together and give you some more variation, and like just like it's just going to feel more natural to the audience. And then in terms of the underlighting, the big thing that I wanted to do with that was, let me go ahead and turn these back off again. At this point I can just delete them. Make me feel better.
I kind of think this is my first daylight scene. That's probably why I'm not thinking it through.
Yeah. No, you've done
spotlights everywhere. Like nighttime.
No, daylight's easier, man. It's like you can. All you have to do is. It's really giving me troubles today. So for this one, I created a light, and just a spotlight, and what I did was I looked through it, and I zeroed in on the dog, and then I positioned it. So this is going to be the tough part. So you're going to want to position it underneath the ground. And then the biggest thing about it is that, like, when I do this, it doesn't matter how much I turn up the intensity of the light. Like, it. Oh, is it already set up? Oh man. Okay. It's already reading my light linking. So by default, normally the ground would just cast shadow on it, and it wouldn't see anything. But because I already set up spotlight 1 to whatever. So basically, whatever software you're using, just make sure it ignores the ground plane. And then what you can do is you can, let's see.
Oh, okay.
Just kind of zero this.
So just have the ground not have it basically shining through the ground then.
Because you don't need it. You don't need it to shine. If something's coming like like upwards at it, it will never appear on the ground, and therefore you won't really need it.
Right.
And then the big thing is like naturally you're going to see these sharp shadows and be like, oh, these are looking really great, but you're going to want to increase that radius just a little bit to create some softer illumination on them. And then it's really just a matter of like how under the lighting you want to go. His nose is tricky with this. So it's like about how much of his eyes you want to read. And then as he steps forward, actually, does he step forward in this one? Yeah, so you just kind of want to.
He starts moving around frame 280, I think. It's like 280 to 320 is when he's snarling.
280 to 320. Oh, right.
There you go.
So
that's the snarl.
So you kind of want to get this up and in here, so it's kind of, highlighting the teeth. Kind of want to get it around a little bit so it's on one eye, but you can also, like, on top of that, don't be afraid to add in some like additional fill light to get just like but again, just simplify it so it's just an exterior sky dome light and then just one kind of light source to do that, because what was happening was I think there was just too many lights coming in. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So
my usual issue. Yeah,
too complex. It's just simplify. And then are you still working on the shaders for this?
Yeah, I'm going to do that this week because I'm actually going to put a full fur system on the dog, so he's going to be fully furred.
Got it.
And then I'm going to have to go into UVing the little boy. God, there's so many proxy things on the kid. It's hard to get down to the mesh, but yeah.
Okay, cool. Then I think...
The teddy bears, I kind of like the look, but I probably need to tweak their shaders a bit too. Yes. The little bears in the background. I'm debating on like stylized versus photoreal. I kind of want to hit like a middle point, but I'm going to put fur on the dog, but I don't know if I want to make it like photoreal versus kind of a stylized sort of look.
Okay, well, I'll hold off on, because I mean, it's one of those, like, once we get the shaders and then we'll be able to see a little bit more. But just like just getting like a rough idea of approximation of the lighting is good, especially because this is like the only time we'll see him, and then go from there. Cool.
Thank you.
All right, great. All right, Aaron. So let's read A/B between these two. Super minor updates. But I wanted to see how you're feeling about it. Are you happy with it? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think I'm happy with it.
Cautiously happy? Is that where you're at?
I mean, I guess I just don't know what else I would even do with it, to be honest with you. Like,
that's my point, is that I think it looks good.
Yeah.
Does this scratch the itch that you were going for? Did you do what you set out to accomplish, which was kind of because you have a fondness for Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
Like, is this doing what you wanted it to do?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I want to do another one, but I don't want to be like the guy. I don't want to spend my whole year on dinosaurs. So, and I know I have another one coming up that is. So, yeah, I think it's just time to, wrap this one up and start on the next project.
There is something to be said for your enjoyment of dinosaurs and the way that you were able to translate that into a knowledge of this scene to the level that a layperson would not know. Things like the skin or the eyes. And, at one point I suggested one eye and you're like, no, that's not how the early 90s eye looked. And I was like, see, like that, there's something to working on a thing that you're familiar with at a level that you're like, people who know this would not be okay with that. You know what I mean?
Even as a kid, kids would get these toys and they would like paint blood on them. And as a kid, I was always like, no, but there is no blood in the movies. So why on earth would you paint blood on them? I had to dive pretty deep when you said blood yesterday. I had to dive pretty deep to find it. And it was like, there's shots from a deleted scene from the second movie where they put blood on it, but I think it was probably taken out because it was trying to get that PG-13. Like, PG-13, so there's a lot of minutia stuff in there that, like I know it. And, but yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun for sure.
I think it's great. And I think that like, I mean, my point is basically, I don't want to discourage you from doing more dinosaur stuff because you're clearly good at it. And this looks great. Like I said, I think the skin is it just looks cool. Like it's just cool. Like in a totally objective way.
I mean, it is hard finding models because, like, I wouldn't even say because I like this franchise, people are like, "Oh, he loves dinosaurs." It's like not really. Like, I like the Crash McCreary stuff, and so like, if someone was like, "Hey, would you want to?" You know, if there was just some random movie that came out that was like, "Oh, do you want to go see like the new like King Kong dinosaur?" Like, no, like I'm good. Like I'll wait. Like it's not dinosaurs. It's specifically the McCreary, and so. This model I found, I was like, oh, they're really trying to like mimic that 90s look. Mm-hmm. So
that's hard to do. Yeah, you might have to commission somebody for it then.
I've got friends that all like are really into it. I tried reaching out to someone today who was like, he showed me some model he did, and I was like, that's great. Is this something shareable? But I don't know if he knows how to UV. I don't know if his models are like, you know, like I've been in the industry for so long. I know like it can look cool, but if it's like structurally bad, it's like I don't want to be your UV, your not regio, like retopology and all that. Like I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, we got burned on that a couple times for some lighting challenge assets where I saw something that somebody else did and I was like, that is so cool. Can we get our hands on it? Bought it, got it, and I was like, no. Like looked at it, I was like, there are no UVs. I didn't ask. Why didn't I ask?
Yeah.
Especially modelers, animators, people who aren't used to the process. Modelers are usually better, but like other people who are putting this stuff together can be tricky.
Yeah, I think this model was like, I think it was like a donation situation, so I donated like $10, and I was like, well, for $10, if it doesn't have UVs, like I'll figure it out. Yeah. But it would not have been fun to re-UV that. So
no, but I realized we never actually clapped. Are you guys ready to clap for Aaron? This is good.
I have one question. I hate to be, but I was just wondering, what are those little like? It's not light dots, but little dots on both on the right, like far right, and one that has like almost on his butt.
There's just like a lens dirt. We kind of had talked about this in like other. Yeah. There's like a whole lens dirt kind of filter over the edges of this, and then the vignette. So,
the only one that kind of annoys me a bit is the one that is on his like leg butt on the that one. But other than that, I think it looks fantastic. I think it's absolutely.
It looks really good.
Could I move it? Because I like if I take it out,
it will be fine. Yeah.
It's just because it's over this like large dark swath that it's the only thing.
So where should I move it? I won't resubmit this, but where should I move it? That one dot, because I want something on him, because then the others don't really. The others I think become more confusing if you don't have anything on them.
Coming from my photography perspective, if you have a couple more, and maybe different sizes of them also, because they kind of look all the same size, then it will give me a much more better idea that it's dust floating in the air,
Okay. Would something like this keep me from getting a job?
No. Okay. I don't think so, but I do.
Yeah, like just like that second one over there kind of already gives me an idea that it's like, oh, that's probably dust or something,
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'll make a couple quick decisions on that. I'll just clone stamp some in or something like that.
Don't. I would say don't. Beat yourself up over them, but yeah, you can. I think that you can probably tweak that a little bit. I just added a couple more back there.
But we can clap.
We can clap. Thank you. All right, you guys ready? 3, 2, 1. All right. Woo!
Cool. Great. Thanks.
Well done.
Great job, buddy. All right.
Thank you.
Andre, moving up the alphabetical list. Here we go. So we've got 2 versions. This is the previous one. All right, sorry. So we've got 2 versions. This is version 1. Talk us through the differences as we're looking at it.
Yeah, this one is I did what you asked about turning off the overhead lights, and the second version I actually separated all the volume lights and put it together in Nuke, but it came completely different. So I don't know why, but anyways,
I think this one's better.
Okay.
2 is better. I don't know if others agree. I
like that one better too.
Yeah. I think this one, because like if you look at it from like a value standpoint, it doesn't vary as much. It's kind of consistent throughout. But this one, like we really hit some pockets of light and dark, and it's like it almost feels like the shot has breath or pulse or something. It's like it creates a rhythm to it that's really cool.
Yeah, in that one, I made the flashlights smaller so that they would look a little bit more like flashlights.
Yeah, that looks like a flashlight.
Now on the right there, when she kicks the robot, there's a time when the robot like crouches himself down and blocks the light from hitting her face. Should I have that light shining on her face all the time?
Let's see one more time.
Like right there.
I think that's enough, actually. I think because there's just that one part where it goes away. Like it's pretty quick. If it wasn't on at frame 1 when it turned out, I would say add it. But since like it hits there and then there's enough time. There's enough time for the audience to understand.
Okay.
The thing about this light is I almost feel like it should be brighter. Like, so it almost has to cut through the chaos that's going on with all the lights and everything spinning around, because it only gets about as bright as the light back here. And so it's like it just elevates itself to being at that level, but never actually demands the attention from the audience entirely. Like, I think you know, sometimes too it might be a matter of I was to say toning down the lights throughout the rest of the shot to set the stage for that one to really glow. But yeah, maybe just create a greater fall off or a faster fall off on the red spinning lights, so that it doesn't quite hit her as much, and there's more darkness. Because I really do like the darkness that happens, and then allow that to really kind of explode the light into the scene a little bit.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I like it. I'm gonna change then the other lights. I think that would be yeah.
Let's get that structure in place first, then we'll work on some detail stuff, because I think we're almost there. Like, because these are pretty big broad strokes at it. So let's get those get those components in place, then we can go on from there.
Okay.
Very cool. Yeah. All right, Ashley. This is cool. This is I haven't seen this before. I haven't seen this project before. And my first thing when I saw this as a thumbnail, like when I saw it like in Discord like this, I thought this was your reference. Like it looks like there are components to it that look really good. The one thing that, which there's two things that I noticed after I started kind of looking at it for a second. Number one, the sun feels a little bit crisp, and lots of times when you're looking directly at it, especially when you're photographing it, it gets like you don't really see like the circle of the sun. It's usually like more of a glowy orb out there. I don't know if that's something that you can adjust or what, but it feels like it would be bigger, brighter, softer out there.
Okay. Yeah, I can look into that. Like I'm still kind of learning Unreal, so
yeah, totally. That's why I'm like,
but,
like when I give notes on this stuff, I give notes on just like the aesthetics of it without knowing how possible any of this actually is. And then the other thing, so your reference is really good, and I think you're doing a great job of matching some of these values. And I think we're good on like the natural elements, because I think that those actually look really good. Like these shadows are nice. I love this color bleed, the fade off from like the red to the black over here. It looks super good. But we have a lot of different light components in here. We've got the neon of the golden gasoline service. We've got the tail lights, the fluorescent lights overhead. And I'm just like, I just feel like the sun would almost, because you have to expose kind of for one of them. You either have to like kind of, and whenever you see like headlights on in a car, even tail lights, during the daytime, you don't really see, like, you see them a little bit, but not that much. You know what I mean? And neon lights kind of like, they don't quite create the same glow effect. So I almost feel like we should tone down some of the human-made lights and allow the natural, like, just allow the sunlight to be the bolder
Those fluorescents, yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's okay. It's okay to have that stuff. Like, it's definitely like cool that stuff is in there, but it's almost like they have like the brightness of the sign and the brightness of the sun feels about the same when you're looking at the light source. Gotcha. And I feel like the sun would just be brighter.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, one thing that I noticed is like the sky, you know, from at least on the left side where the sun is, would be the brightest, and the reflection of the sun on the floor is way brighter than the sky. I think that would be like, if the sky there is brighter, it would be a little bit more of an overall sync to the scene, you know. And I think that ties with what you said, Mike, about not being just a little circle, but it's going to be. And if you go back to the references, there's a sunset, the one on the left corner, you can see how the sky overall is really bright there, or even the one on the top left, like how the sky is the brightest part of the scene, basically.
I'm not convinced this bottom left one is in Photoshopped or something. Maybe I'm wrong. It feels like something feels.
Probably is. Yeah.
I feel like, why do I feel like the sun's coming in? Like the shadows are falling a different way than the sun is.
Yeah, exactly.
Something's going on there.
The ground light is coming from the right. Yeah.
Anyway.
But even if you look only at the sky, you can see that, you know, the sky is a lot brighter.
Yeah. And the value kind of radiates from this one circular area around the sun.
Yeah.
That's a really good point, because I was like, I was thinking that this was a little bit bright, but also, like, I'm just gonna do this for just a second. But like, if you just look down here, like, look how cool this area looks.
Yeah.
Right? Like, doesn't that look great? Like you see the speckles of whatever, like rocks or I don't know, whatever's in the dirt here, and then it kind of falls off, and then like this variation, this kind of gradient coming across here. That's really cool. All right, sorry, I didn't want to grab your image.
I mean, not to take away from Maya and all those traditional renders, but like, we're learning Unreal, and we're probably learning it in the worst way, which is have an interview where you admit that you have no idea what they're talking about, and then you go back that day and produce what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, I saw this early on, and I was like, okay, and then I got consumed with my own work, and then she showed me this, and I was like, that looks like something on the Unreal Marketplace like store. Like, it looks, I don't know. I thought this looked really good for, I don't know, finish it, or for how little of time it took to create that.
It's probably like a couple days worth of work, to be honest.
Yeah, it's really really impressive, and the more like I said, the more I talk to companies in not only entertainment but various industries, there's a very real shift to Unreal specifically. So I think I'm not saying everybody's doing it, and I'm not saying that's the way of the future or anything like that, because these things change quickly. But there are some real benefits of it.
If they can structure their layer system exactly like Arnold Redshift, where you can break out and you can hide things and still have light affect them and all that, this will 100% take over, because that's, for me, that's what's hindering me from actually wanting to use this as a real possibility. It's like, you can't just create the custom layer structure where you matte things or adjust primary visibility or stuff. It's like, if you hide something, it no longer calculates light.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it's not a comping software yet.
Yeah, totally. No, I think that you are. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. No, I think that there's like one or two things that has to happen. Either Unreal gets that more control for people who want it, or the other renderers have to get a lot faster, like crazy fast. And I'm not sure. Like I said, one of them's going to happen, and like they'll probably both happen over time. But it's really
RenderMan already started that using GPU and CPU
thing. Yeah, I haven't played around with that, but yeah. Very cool. All right, great. All right, Kat.
Where do you guys normally get the scenes and models? Is there like everywhere around the internet, or do you guys have a certain place that you normally go to?
For Unreal, there's an Unreal Marketplace, and it's everything from, you can find some free stuff on there, and then there's also paid stuff that you would have to pay for. But it's pretty much all just loads right in. A lot of it's already pre-textured, so it makes it pretty simple for the most part. You just have to notice, like, if it's set up for Unreal 5 or Unreal 4, there's different things there that can cause issues, but for the most part, that's where we get it.
Cool.
I think we're to the point. The stuff on my demo in Unreal is like the free asset stuff, and what we're finding is like that stuff is everywhere. So employers have seen it a million times. So we are to the point now where we're starting to invest money in it, which is a little frustrating. But you can even take any of the AAA stuff and put it in there. You just have to. I mean, there's a tutorial through the AAA community where they talk about that, and it works. Like I've got a full-on animation going on right now in Unreal. I mean, it's legitimately insane. It's cool.
Yeah, the one that Jordan created for the class is really good. So you could check that out. It's he did a really good job with that.
I mean, I want to take the mermaid asset in there, but I'm worried about the hair. I don't know anything about hair. Is hair usually hardware or software specific?
Yeah. I mean, it depends on how it's created. Like, I know like lots of stuff in Maya is created through XGen, and so that kind of gets stuck in that software. But it should be, and like sometimes you could bake out the geo.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look into it.
Ruby, how you doing? Let's see. We've got your previous one here, so we've cooled it off a little bit. I think that I think it really helps. I think adding some of those bluer elements, really like blue or purple elements, really helps. How are you feeling about it? Is there anything that you're struggling with? Is there anything you want to talk about specifically?
On my side, the screen is frozen, so
sorry.
I'm just gonna. No, it's fine. So the part where I have more issues, I think. Well, Maya was crashing, so I couldn't re-render anything here. So I wanted to put like some, maybe bounce lights under the basket, probably like the example that you had for a cat with the dog, like the light under.
Yeah.
So probably something like that I'll have to do, especially on the ones on the right side, because I think that's the ones that are getting darker.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much my only note on that is just to get some more bounce light in there, because I think that like. Yeah, like I mean, you nailed it. Like there's some of these areas that are still getting too dark. I think underneath her chin could be lifted just a little bit, but like the work that you're doing on her skin is like, it's really nice. Like I'm looking at, just zoom in a little bit here. So like, sorry if you can't see this, but
it's working.
Okay, good. I just realized this. So like where you're seeing on the cheek there's like brightness, but there's specular variation in there that looks really nice. You've got that like soft little bit of redness in the nostril that's working really well. Also just like her neck right here, like the speckiness, it's like aged skin that's like a little bit stretched right there. It looks really good. Yeah, I think I'm wondering. Let me just do this real quick so we can grab this. I'm wondering if. This is gonna be a janky grab, but I'm wondering if we can't, because I'm looking at her screen right arm, and I'm wondering if we could just her screen left arm. I just want to just warm it up a little bit. I don't know if you're able to crypto mat that or something, but I think that would help too.
Okay.
But everything, I mean, I'll open it up to the floor and see if anybody else has any thoughts. But I think this is looking. think it's looking really nice. I think just add some added bounce light in there. Watch out for, there's something going on this potted plant right here that feels a little bit low res. Like there's like a line of dots on it. It feels like blurry or something's going on. Just take a look at that. But I think everything else is looking really good. Do you guys have any thoughts? Maybe I'm wondering if there's a way to slightly darken the flowers on this, like just like these two vertical ones, without allowing them to get too dark. Just because I'm seeing that there's like a lovely gradation, a really nice gradient going across the background here. But once we get into these flowers, they stay pretty consistent across there in terms of their brightness. It'll be really tricky, but just like a subtle darkening on the. And you know what? It might that might actually be the bounce. Like if you get more bounce light in these, and then just kind of limit it to just that area and not over here, that might be enough to vary those a little bit. Does that make sense?
And
so like
yeah, when you say more bounce light and these, which ones were you pointing at?
So basically, when you go to add your bounce light underneath the character and underneath the environment, I think if we limit that to like this kind of range, because that's basically where the sunlight is hitting anyway, that will lift the value of these flowers by adding some more bounce light underneath them. But by focusing there, like these will stay as they are, and I think by lifting the other ones slightly, it'll create that variation naturally between those two.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, cool. Anybody else? These are really pretty. All right, cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. All right, let's take a look at, we've got Rick up next. Some reference here of this kind of blue flame. There's also another image. Where'd it go? I swear there was another reference image. But that's all right. We've got this render out of it. So overall, this is, I mean, it's pretty cool. Like, it's just got like a cool vibe to it. The whole thing is really nice. There's just a few things. Like, number one is that I want to make the dark points on the shuttle a little bit darker so I can read it a little bit more. I mean, obviously your eye's going to get drawn to the mystical flame, but it does. I mean, it doesn't have to be like super over the top. Why can't I do anything about this? You know what? Let me just do it this way. Sorry. Copy. So do you see how like there's no like real dark values in there? If I bring in some darks on the plane itself, you can see it kind of helps us focus up on it a little bit more. But the flames themselves look somewhere in there. I think like just that like a little bit of additional richness on that would really help. There's some wispy thing like well, oh, that's what happened. Weird. There's some wispy shadows going on top of the shuttle. That looks like it's from some sort of sand blowing thing. It looks a little odd. I would just, try and either eliminate that or whatever light is causing that shadow, soften that enough to where you don't see it.
It could be smoke.
Could be smoke too. It's just, but it feels.
Yeah, it feels much darker than everything else.
Yeah. And
so maybe just lift the blacks so that it ties together with the rest of it.
Yeah, it's nice to get that variation on it, but like, to get like a variation going across the shuttle, but that's just too dark. Also, I would expect more light glow from the purple flames onto like some of the surroundings, like onto the ship itself, and so I don't know if there's an opportunity to add a little bit more purple light into the scene, like because that's really bright. And then there's something, I guess it's a lens thing. kind of over here to the left, that's kind of dancing around.
Yeah, there's a vignette.
Yeah, vignette. And then there's like a blue shape that happens towards the end, like that. I'm seeing that kind of just hangs out there. But yeah, it's looking really good. I love the colors of the blue. There's also kind of a turquoise thing going on over here to the left. That's kind of nice. It's almost like the smoke from it has like a turquoise hue. But the lighting, by the way, on the ship itself, like this kind of shaping around the nose, looks good. I just question as to, like, I guess there's two focuses, like the focus on the flame and the focus kind of on the cockpit area. Oh, also these cracks on the windshield feel very, very bright. The ground looks good. Like, I love the shaping on the ground. Like, that feels very moon-like. Although there wouldn't be like blowing dust on the moon. There's no wind on the moon, I don't think. Right? Yeah, there's no wind on the moon. I always say that, then I always have to like question myself, like, you don't know science, man. Yeah, does anybody else have any thoughts on this? It's cool. Yeah, where is this? This is an Earth, and there's some sort of atmosphere. I have more questions than answers at this point. That's still what's going on here. But very cool stuff, Rick. I like it. I love it. All right, T. We'll take a look. I think this is, yeah. All right, T. We've got you up here. So this is the previous version. This is the update. So good job getting the specularity down in the hair. We can see more of the outside. We got the light kind of shining over top of them. I think that helps. I think the big thing that I want to do is I really kind of want to focus on this light more, and then just like allow, like the way that the light's hitting here, just like really focus it in. Like, let's go ahead and allow this area and the table over here just kind of fall into a little bit more darkness. In terms of outside, like, I think it's drawing too much of our attention right now. It almost feels like what I would do is I think we have room to make the lens of the camera more telephoto, like increase the millimeter number on it. So like make it like an 85 millimeter lens, and that'll allow us to get the background out of focus a little bit and zoom in on the characters a little more. Because there's just like there's some dead area over here to the right that we really don't need. Also, the format of this one's interesting. It's much more square than you usually see for anything cinematic. Usually it's that, 1920 by 1080 is like that's like the standard aspect ratio. You only kind of get in things like this when the director or the cinematographer of the film is trying to communicate a compression of space. Like if it was like if there's a sequence in Rick's shot here where like you're inside the shuttle and the characters are struggling to get out, like that would be more square, where this is like more panoramic, more environmental. I'm not saying you have to go this wide, but I think that you might want to consider making it more a little bit wider, and then punching the camera in to eliminate some of this side, get the light to focus here, allow the background to fall out of focus a little bit. And then in terms of the lighting on the characters, you're doing a good job of not making it like scary top-down lighting and allowing some bounce light to come in. But I think it's a little bit too frontal, like coming from the camera, and that like this side of her face is filled in a little bit too much. It's almost like, and this is where good reference of this type of lighting comes in, where there's like top-down light, and then the wood would bounce like warm light up on them. Let's see. Let me do this. Actually, let me go ahead and see if I can. Framing would be more. The aspect ratio would be more like this. And then for the characters themselves, the telephoto would kind of zoom it in a little bit. And so it actually kind of look more, I'd say kind of like this as a whole. And then what you could do is you could then take and then what we've got is the light kind of falls here. This area falls dark here. This area falls dark. We get some more bounce light on the characters. The background itself can then Go a little bit blurry. And actually, you probably go a little bit darker on the background too. Let's see that in just a second. That is too much blur on the background, but you get the idea. Go a little bit darker out there, and then for the characters, I heard someone unmute themselves. Was there any other thoughts on this? And then characters and kind of go like this, and then another thing is the light on the characters does feel a little bit yellow. Kind of just be like a warmer. Man, I really put too much blur in that background. Let's pull it back a little bit. So like something more like this, I think would be. Would be where we want to go with this. These characters are trickier than you think that they're going to be. I'm sure we've had a few people, a bunch of you guys have lit this one. These guys are they. It's always so funny when you're designing this stuff because you don't know until you start to light it. You're like, man, yeah, they're like, her hair tends to go more gray. Yeah, the lighting can be a little bit tricky, but I think with these modifications we can build from here and then really get a good final product. Any other thoughts before we part ways for the weekend, guys?
I just have a question about the schedule coming up.
Yeah.
Are you doing a live critique on that last day of the month, that Monday? Okay,
Yeah.
And then it switches to the new person.
Yeah. So I'll be back on Monday. I thought today was my last day until I looked at the calendar because I thought Sunday was the 28th, but no, I'll be back on Monday. And I'll do a video critique, and then I'll pass it on. And then Christos will. I'm not sure what exactly his critique schedule is going to be. We've talked to him about posting it to you guys. And just so you know, Jasmine and I worked with Christos for a long time at Blue Sky. He is an incredibly nice guy, an incredible artist. He's now at Pixar. He's great. You guys, he's such a no BS guy. It's wonderful. And also, he makes incredible. His mom or his grandma or somebody taught him to make like these incredible Greek desserts that he would bring into the office, and they're all there's like hundreds of different ones, but they're all phyllo dough, some kind of nut, and then like honey and like powdered sugar, and they're all amazing, but like different shapes. And he would just be like, I don't know, I made some desserts, and then like he would have like those aluminum foil trays just filled with them. We're like, dude, you're amazing. He's an amazing guy. So you guys you're in good hands. But I'll still be. I might if he does live ones, I might poke in just to say hi on occasion. But
this is so very not fair for you to tell us about these desserts.
How do you think I feel?
Considering that he's not going to make them for us.
I used to sit.
You're not going to be able to.
I sat 10 feet away from this beautiful Greek man, and now nothing. Now I'm just stuck in my apartment all the time. I didn't get a last one before the Clue Studio closed. It's ridiculous. I'm just kidding. No, he's great. You guys you're going to do well. We'll figure out how to transition this. So like the hard part is like if I gave you notes on something and then you show it to him and he has a totally different vision for it. So yeah, so like we're figuring that stuff out, like how to transition from one person to the next. But feel free, like I'm still around next month. We are, so one of the reasons why I'm kind of why we're doing more other people critiquing is I'm getting ready to we're moving from New York. I'm moving to California in June. We're moving to the Bay Area, and so it's a little bit of chaos here. So we're having some, and also like I said, we just want other critiquers to come in and see how it goes. But yeah,
I have a question.
Yeah.
You mentioned that he might do video live critiques.
Yeah. I don't know that for sure. Like I haven't talked to him about it because
Okay.
like I put some.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if that was possible because I feel like it's so much faster to figure things out if you're able to talk.
I agree. I just I know that everybody has a like Francesco loves to do his paint over, so it's like, you know what, man, do what you love to do. I know that everyone has unique schedules. The schedule at Pixar is pretty demanding, and so I don't know when his availability is. And then so it's like a balance of. So I made like a training video for him on how to do all the different critique methodologies and like what kind how we kind of do it, because we really do want to give people the freedom to. And all I did was I just was like, man, because him and Linda, who's going to be here in April, they're both like just like good people who get it. You know what I mean? Like we wouldn't bring him in otherwise. And so when like it's like just however you like to receive notes, like he knows how important real interaction is. If he can make it work in his schedule, I'm sure he'll do it. But yeah, I'll put that word into him.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem, guys. All right. Have a wonderful weekend, y'all, and I will see you back again on Monday. All right. Be good, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.